Your screenplay will soon be written by an AI. Your code debugged by an AI. Your blockbuster film rendered by an AI. April 2025 marks the pivotal month in which we surrendered the final frontier of human exceptionalism, creativity itself, to machines engineered to replace us. While billionaires fund ever more powerful AI systems and tech companies slash safety testing from months to days, we sleepwalk ourselves towards a future where human creative labor becomes a historical curiosity, a quaint relic of the pre-automation age. Now, on April 10th, TechCrunch reported that Murati, former CTO of OpenAI, has launched Thinking Machine Labs with ambitions to raise an astonishing $2 billion seed round. $2 billion, that's crazy. Now, her venture aims to build what she calls human-aligned AI, capable of reasoning, planning, and performing long-horizon tasks, systems that transcend just mere language models in order to move towards more agentic intelligence. Murati's pivot from OpenAI to competitors represents a power dynamic shift, a telling shift in the entire industry's power dynamics, mind you, with capital flowing towards more increasingly powerful models. That same day, LiveMint revealed that OpenAI's development of an autonomous software engineering agent designed to replace the entire software development cycle was just released. Unlike coding assistants that offer suggestions, this system writes code, tests it, debugs it, and refactors it without any human intervention. Now, OpenAI reportedly views this as their next flagship product, technology that basically handles what they call humans won't. Now, particularly the unglamorous tasks of testing and refinement that most human programmers find pretty tedious. Now, on April 11th, Windows Central followed up with some concerning revelations about OpenAI's safety practices. Shocker. The company has drastically reduced its testing timeframes, gone from months to days, all in a rush to outpace their competitors like China's DeepSeek. Now, this acceleration comes after some key safety personnel departures and amid warnings from researchers like Roman Yampolsky, who calculates a 99.9999999% probability that uncontrolled AI could ultimately end humanity. Very innocuous statement. Now, completing this portrait of transformation, Business Insider also reported on April 10th that filmmaker James Cameron, yes, the very one that brought us those avatars, has embraced AI as the solution to Hollywood's ballooning production costs. Now, after joining Stability AI's board in 2024, Cameron now advocates integrating AI into pretty much everything, all visual effects production, to cut blockbuster film expenses down in half, while at the same time supposedly preserving employment. A claim, I think, is what triggered me to dig deeper philosophically, given the historical pattern of automation. Now, from software engineering to filmmaking, the highest domains of human cognitive work are facing a somewhat systematic replacement by systems optimized for efficiency, cost reduction, scale, all the big, fantastic, tailorized elements. The Karl Marx analysis of capital's relationship to labor actually shows us a quite powerful framework for understanding where we are in this moment in time. He wrote in his manuscript, Economic and Philosophic Manuscripts of 1844, that there's this concept of alienation, which is the process by which workers become estranged from their labor, its product, and ultimately themselves. Now, software engineers, once the high-status knowledge workers at the center of technological value, and value creation are now faced and confronted with the same kind of alienation that factory workers experienced during the industrial era. Their intellectual contribution becomes systematized and commodified, with surplus value flowing to platform owners and capital like OpenAI, Thinking Machine Labs, and the investors backing them with billions. Now, Marx could never have anticipated the extension of this process to creative work itself, yet Cameron's proposal to halve film production costs using AI shows capital's relentless drive to extract maximum value while minimizing labor costs. Now, Martin Heidegger also offers an equally illuminating perspective through his analysis of technology's essence. In his piece, The Question Concerning Technology, Heidegger argued that modern technology represents a particular way of revealing the world, one that reduces everything, including humans, to what he calls a standing reserve, or resources to be optimized and exploited. He termed this mode of revealing end-framing, Gestel, a framework that transforms our relationship with reality itself. So when OpenAI creates an agent that handles the entire development lifecycle, the human engineer's relationship to coding fundamentally changes. We become, in Heidegger's terms, orderers of the standing reserve, managers of automated processes rather than direct creators themselves. The work of engineering essentially becomes indirect, mediated through machines that perform the thinking, debugging, and even the aesthetic refinement previously requiring a real human judgment behind that wheel. Heidegger would see this transition as a sort of profound ontological shift, a fully transformed relationship between human consciousness and the material world. Beyond economics and labor displacement lies a sort of metaphysical transformation that penetrates to the core of human consciousness itself. The delegation of creative judgment, the outsourcing of aesthetic decisions, the automation of meaning making, the simulation of understanding. Think Baudrillard, French philosopher Jean Baudrillard, would recognize in these developments what he called a murder of the real, the replacement of authentic engagement with simulacra, the copies without originals. The code written by OpenAI's agent, the visual effects generated for Cameron's films, the agentic systems that Murati pursues, all become simulacra of real human creativity. Perfect reproductions, totally divorced from the lived experience that infuses human creation with meaning. Human creative acts have always served as this expression of consciousness, engaging and wrestling with reality. That frustration, wrestling itself, is what brings them about. When Michelangelo sculpted, when Mozart composed, when programmers code, they participate in these acts of meaning making that connect interior consciousness with an external and exterior materiality. I think philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty described this connection as the chiasm, the intertwining of consciousness and world that constitutes the foundation of human experience. As we delegate these acts to machines incapable of consciousness, we're risking severing this fundamental connection between meaning and existence. I think the danger extends beyond our individual creative domains to our collective understanding of truth itself. OpenAI's choice to slash safety testing from months to days exemplifies what Heidegger distinguished as calculative thinking, triumphing over mediative thinking. Calculative thinking concerns itself with things like optimization, things like metrics and efficiency and instrumental goals. Mediative thinking attends to meaning, essence, and the fundamental questions of existence. Our technological civilization increasingly privileges the former, measuring progress through benchmarks and capabilities and rankings and market valuation, while totally forgetting the philosophical dimension of technological development. Hannah Arendt, I mentioned her plenty of times in this podcast, in this video series, witnessing the technological acceleration of her own time, asked a question that's still pretty relevant today. What are we doing? Not what can we do, or how efficiently can we do it, but what meaning do our actions hold? What world do they create? What conception of humanity do they enact? Philosophical blindness, evident in this past couple of weeks' developments, represents the true existential risk that Yampolsky's probability calculation gestures towards, the willingness to delegate fundamental aspects of human meaning-making to systems totally incapable of understanding meaning itself. Philosopher Albert Borgman actually described this thing called a device paradigm. So technologies that basically deliver commodities while concealing the processes that produce them, almost like the man in the Emerald Curtain in the Wizard of Oz, ironically. Now, OpenAI's engineering agent delivers code, in this case, while concealing the process of coding. Cameron's AI visual effects deliver spectacles while concealing the craft of creation. The systematic concealment itself, this entire process, leaves us surrounded by the products of simulated consciousness while increasingly remaining detached from our authentic engagement with reality. Where are we going to find what remains distinctly human in this landscape? Martin Buber offers one possibility through his concept of I-thou relationships, encounters with reality characterized by mutuality, presence, and irreducible uniqueness. While machines can simulate the I-it relationships, instrumental engagements with objects as like a means to an end, they remain constitutionally incapable of genuine I-thou encounters. The machine can never meet the world as a presence. It can only process it as data. And so I think our path forward might lie in reclaiming creativity as an act of presence, a form of meeting between consciousness and world that remains irreducibly human, regardless of the technology that we imbibe in it, the sophistication we try to weave into it. The artist, the engineer, filmmaker who creates from a place of real, authentic presence, engages in an act that no machine, however advanced, can actually simulate. They participate in what Polanyi called tacit knowledge, an embodied understanding that transcends explicit articulation and algorithmic capture. Nasty, Brutish, and Short, I'm Michael Cuenca. I think the automation of creativity forces us to confront questions that are more profound than just economics or labor. When we delegate creative acts to machines that are incapable of experiencing meaning, we are risking severing the very essential connection between consciousness and creation, something that's defined humanity since we started. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of AI's recent conquest of creative domains. I think I'll leave you with this question, that basically as we automate the outputs of consciousness, are we able to still preserve lived experience of meaning that gives us human creative people, creativity. It's irreplaceable value. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next week.